Hey everybody, welcome to Milan Magic Quick Hit. I'm Brian Boitano here with my counterpart, USA Today journalist Christine Brennan. We just came back from the team competition. It was a memorable night. We ended up with the team gold medal. I know Christine, you were in one space in the Coliseum and I was in another, but we both experienced the electricity in that building. What did you think about what you saw tonight?
Well, Brian, really, this event, which, as we had said, the team competition, which was an add-on back in 2014, and kind of was a dud for those. In fact, forget kind of, it was a dud basically for those first three Olympics. Well, it arrived tonight. This became a real event. The entire evening, pairs, women, and then the men. And you and I, how much, and everyone who's listened, and thank you for listening, everybody, and watching us. We've said it over and over again, this decision to have Ilia Malinin skate the long program, right? And he had said no, his coaches didn't want him to do it. He was going to just rest, getting ready for the much more important individual men's event beginning Tuesday. No way, no how. US Figure Skating told him late Saturday night that they needed him. It was too close and they could lose without him. It turned out to be the best decision of Ilia Malinin's career. He is Mr. America tonight, at least until the Super Bowl gets going. He is literally, he's got a gold medal around his neck, and he is the hero who saved the day for the United States. Am I being a little too positive about Ilia, or do you agree that this was a very big deal in his young career?
I think it's a big deal. And I think he went about doing this the right way because after the short program, we said that he was probably disappointed with his performance. And yes, that would also inspire him to do the long program, to come back right away and just like say, hey, I'm still here. I'm still able to like do all of these amazing things. And the thing that you and I talked about was we were a little bit worried because we didn't want him to come out and do 7 quads and just leave it all on the ice for the team competition. He had to leave space for him to regroup and go into the individual competition. So, and he actually did that. He did that with still doing, he didn't skate his best tonight. He wasn't 100%, but he still did enough. He did 5 quads. He did enough to win the team event and win the men's event, which meant they were going to win the team event. He did enough so that I think that there's still a place for him to go in the individual competition. So if I had to lay it out, I would say he played it exactly right.
Yeah, I think this sets him up actually perfectly. I mean, yes, down in the mix zone, his team wants him off his feet back in the village, not doing interviews. And now I'm sure he's on the bus or headed home right now. But this is a lot, right? He did last night, tonight, the pressure extraordinary. It wasn't 7 quads. He stumbled out of one, but and I think he was a triple axle, not a quad axle. As according to the stat sheet anyway, and what I saw. But the bottom line is, he did, because he had no idea he was skating before, of course, the Japanese skater, of course, Shun Sato. So, you had to do more because you had no idea what he was going to do. It turned out he did 3 quads. But I think now, I mean, the adrenaline alone, the joy, the scene here, as you know, and can I just take a second because I was watching very, very closely. For those who were watching or are going to watch it or didn't even see it, but you do have this incredible drama, and it reminded me a lot of the Battle of the Bryans or Michelle Kwan and Tara Lipinski in the individual events where it's just basically one skater now against another. And so Ilia's score, as you know, in the long program was 200.03 points. So Sato has to beat that. Sato's score pops up 194.86. I mean, this is drama. This is as you said, oh my gosh. I mean, the place it's a relatively small arena, but it is electric, as you just said, perfect word for it. And so Sato 194.86. Malinin had done it. The Americans had won. Well, at that moment, those team boxes on the ringside on the ice, Ilia wasn't there because, of course, he'd been backstage after finishing skating. He comes running. I don't know if you watched this, but this was just such a moment of triumph for an athlete. He comes running from behind the curtains to celebrate with the teammates in the team box. But he didn't just like dash to them, Brian. He dove into the cheering collection of happy Americans. His arms are raised in triumph. He was lifted off his feet. He was actually like flying. And as I write in USA, this was the image of the athlete in triumph. Worry about how much this took out of him, an hour later. This was the highlight of this young man's career.
Man, and that's exactly what the team competition is about. It's what US Figure Skating and the IOC have wanted the team competition to be about. They wanted camaraderie, they wanted to show fun, they wanted to show the relationship with all the teammates together. And this showed it like in a perfect form. This is exactly what it's all about. And honestly, special shout out to Ellie and Danny, our pair team, who had a lot on their plate. They haven't had great performances in the past. They've been sometimes made multiple mistakes in programs, and they delivered tonight. They did the side-by-side triples. She did both of the throws that I don't ever remember her ever seeing her land both of those throws. They had literally the performance of their life, and they are so responsible and so like part of this team and establishing that we won the Olympic gold medal. Their contribution was immeasurable.
You're absolutely right. And I mean, when on earth would we be praising a fourth place finish, not a fifth place finish? And of course, fifth is last, right? But that point, and again, we talked about it last night. It's a math problem. It's basic math. So when the pairs started, that was the first of the three disciplines tonight. And when Ellie, Cam, and Danny O'Shea got out there and skated, cleanly. She hung on. I mean, that was, there was real fight in that pairs team. And then I believe the Canadians were next. And when the Canadians didn't go ahead of them, again, inside baseball, but this, if you love the Ilia Malinin story, you got to love this story. The pairs are a key part, as you just said. So then the Americans are not going to be fifth. They're going to be fourth. That's 1 point. And that 1 point, especially when Amber Glenn, let's talk about her in a second. But obviously the pressure is extraordinary in a team event. We see it in the Ryder Cup in golf, people crumbling, it can happen. But that 1 point then allowed the United States to be tied going into the men's, as opposed to Japan with 1 point ahead. So huge. And then let's talk about Amber Glenn. That she looked nervous. What did you think?
She did, but you know what, Amber, we know that Amber has had troubles in the past performing under pressure sometimes. It's been hard for her to deliver two programs, a clean short program and a clean long program in a competition. This is the Olympics. It's a whole nother level of pressure. And you know what? She did a pretty good job. She wasn't her best, but I think this, like how I talked about Ilya leaving some space for him to do a good job in the individual, Amber has done the same thing. Her triple axel was good, but a little forward. She didn't do the triple combination. She, attempted another triple combination on another jump, and she wasn't able to do it. But honestly, the mistakes were minimal. She just had to be really good, because the other skaters, Gubanova and Kaori Sakamoto, were just amazing tonight. But like I said, this is good for Amber Glenn. I'm looking forward to her individual competition. This is good. She got her feet wet. She got her little pressure, stress out. She's at the Olympics. Now she knows it. The next time she steps on the ice will be for her individual short program, and she's going to feel a lot more relaxed and confident. I think that's important for her. And she still delivered a fine performance for the team competition.
Exactly. Now, Amber is a gem, right? I mean, she's just a wonderful person. Her quotes are amazing. She could fill every tape recorder and every notebook, in the country. And but she was also brutally honest. And I think this is important. USA Today has tons of this online. We have covering the heck out of this. Super Bowl is starting, I think, even as we're speaking. But we have got this covered. But Amber Glenn, honesty. I mean, let's just praise this woman, obviously for so many reasons. 26 years old, first Olympic Olympic. But she did say to my colleague Jordan Mendoza, she said, I do feel guilty that I could be the reason that we don't get the gold. I mean, brutal honesty, Brian, after this was in the mix zone. Yeah.
It's
And she said,
hard, and and you
yeah.
could see it on her face after she skated. She was disappointed and she was worried. We could see that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And she goes, she said, went on in these quotes. I think they're important. Again, they're in usatoday.com. You can find them easily in USA Today Sports. But she said, I don't know how I will ever apologize for that. I mean, heart wrenching. She went on to say, I'm so sorry that I had to put this pressure onto Ilia Malinin. I wish that I could have kept that lead for us, but unfortunately I lost it. And there's nothing I can do about it now, except for try and do the best I can in the individual and support my team. So how wonderful was it? Hey, listen, hard-bitten journalist. I know there's a lot of people assume we just like always are focused on negative and whatever. But let me just say this, knowing those quotes that she had said, and then to see Amber's joy, to see them put that gold medal around her neck, they kind of like that shrug and that relief, like, whoo, we did it. And the support she had from Ilia and Alyssa and everyone else, because they knew that she was taking it really hard. And the joy and kind of the pressure and the weight of the world lifted off her shoulders. I mean, Amber Glenn is an Olympic gold medalist, and she's about as honest as they come. Good for her. And as you said, this will probably bode well for her in the women's competition. But what an honest, good person, and to be telling the reporters about how hard this was for her.
And you know what? This is what the team competition is all about. If your teammate has, not a great day, you take over the pressure. So Ilya, the generous guy that he is, he's not holding anything against his teammates. He's going like, you know what? You had a rough skate. I'm going to take the pressure for you. As well as if he would have had a rough skate, Amber would have taken the pressure for him. That's how team event works. And they're working toward the same goal. So even though Amber feels that way, the other teammates are not feeling that way. They're feeling supportive of her. And, like I said, she didn't have a disastrous performance. Her performance was still fine, and it puts her in a good position for that. But then, and that being said, we can't forget about Chalk and Bates. I mean,
Yeah.
let's talk about Chalk and
Yeah.
Bates.
Oh, exactly. And no, for sure. Of course, the ice dancers, 7-time national champions, world champions, finally looking for an individual medal here in their event, which, by the way, starts on Monday. Ice dance, rhythm dance gets going. So we go right from the team to the first ice dance and then the men the next night. But, they have not won an individual medal in in ice dance. But Madison Chalk, Evan Bates, win the rhythm dance in the team competition. They win their free skate in the team competition. That is 20 points that they delivered to the U.S. Just absolute gold. And then I saw them come back into the box near the end. Obviously, they knew there'd be a medal and there'd be a medal ceremony. Was it going to be gold or silver? And you know what made me so happy? As you know, I covered every second of that ridiculous, excruciating 2.5-year saga, the Kamila Valieva Russian doping saga. Finally, the U.S. got those gold medals in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower in Paris in 2024. And a very important story to me. And every day in Beijing, 2022 Olympics, we're all masked up. And Evan and Maddie were the team captains, and they had to come and talk about the heartbreak of leaving Beijing without any medal, team medal, plus they finished 4th in their individual event. To see them on the medal stand just an hour or so ago, I'm looking right out at the arena right now at the ice, to see them get their gold medals immediately. They didn't have to
Yes,
wait two
I
and a
was
half
thinking
years.
about that.
Is that
Oh my
cool?
God,
Isn't
I
that
was
nice?
totally thinking about that. And also, another story, but you were responsible for the team between 2022 getting their team gold medals
Right.
finally and eventually after, pursuing the IOC and making sure that they were held accountable. But anyway, another story. But honestly, they are just the gems. And to watch that, I was thinking about that tonight, about back in Beijing and seeing them get actual gold medals, the first time we've ever seen that for our
Right.
team. And it was just so amazing.
No, that's a great point. Yes, we saw it in Paris, as we said, 2.5 years later. But this is the way it's supposed to happen, and it was beautiful, and the energy in the crowd. And I'm going to do a shout out. My niece and her husband were there, and they were loving every second. They picked the right night to come to figure skating, didn't they? Leslie and Max, shout out to you guys, and they're avid listeners, by the way. And but of Milan Magic, of course. But the point is, I mean, just that energy, and to see the Americans on the top of the stand and get the gold medal. Again, hard-bitten journalist here. You know, I cover the tough stuff, and there's a moment you sit there and you just kind of smile and you go, "Wow, this is really cool." And Brian, you know, to think that here we are talking about the team that's over, but we are just beginning on the really big stuff. Obviously, dance, men, pairs, and women. And we are going to have, for our listeners and viewers, we're going to have a no more quick hit, or as we're going to call it now, not so quick hit, because we keep talking. But we're going to do the real thing. We're going to meet up Monday, and we're going to have a podcast drop, you and I on the ground together in Milan. We're going to do that on Monday. So we have this tonight, and our wonderful producer and best friend Jeff is going to get this thing going, and then we'll be back at it tomorrow with a full length podcast edition of Milan Magic. Well, anything to say to close us out, Brian?
Yeah, actually, I know that you're in the rink now. Well, I'm in the winter house, having a huge celebration. I don't know if you can hear the people in the background, but Winter House is the official hospitality house for U.S. figure skating, hockey, and speed skating. And everybody is here celebrating our team gold medal. And they're yelling outside and cheering. And it's just, I don't know if the skater is going to show up here later, but it is just a huge celebration here at Winter House.
Well, then why the heck are you talking to me? I think you need to
I
go
know.
and join that
Get me out of
celebration.
here, Christine. I need to go and celebrate with everybody.
Absolutely. Until tomorrow, Brian, great to talk to you. Thanks, everyone, for listening to Milan Magic Not So Quick Hit. Good night.
Good night.